What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, a channel 100% dedicated to the Arsenal, who, as we all know, are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. And, well, we're one of only two unbeaten teams in the league this season. Manchester City this week have seen their chances of a quadruple gone, and their chance to match our invincible season of 2004 gone as well, with a very surprising defeat against Wolves. Although, probably shouldn't be that surprising. It's the sort of results they were getting last season as well. They lost home and away to Brentford last season. They do have this in them, and they are going through a little mini injury crisis, which Arsenal apparently were going through as well, if reports were to be believed. Starting to become difficult to trust everything that Mikel Arteta tells us, with 7 players injured. Yesterday's lineup against Bournemouth, and the only player really missing was Martinelli. Jesus again deputising for him on the left, with Eddie still trusted through the middle. It was boring Arsenal. It was, for my money, the most boring match we've played. Once Saka's put us ahead with a header which he's almost embarrassed to score. It was so easy. And we got a second goal just before half-time for a blatant penalty that Eddie had won running into the area. It never looked like we were going to be challenged. It was so comfortable that we were actually able to, when Odegaard won a penalty early in the second half, he was actually able to let King Kai take it. Kai Havertz, the new Dennis Bergkamp, 1 goal from his first 7 games, just like Dennis before him. And do you know what? I want to start by talking about the fact that Kai was given that penalty, because it's a sign of just how popular he is with the other players, which is important because he hasn't been at the club very long, just a couple of months. So to see them care enough about him to let him have a penalty was really heartwarming. To see them surround him when he scored it, I mean, it was almost a carbon copy of the penalty that Odegaard had scored just before the second half. All good, but you do wonder, I mean, does it really make that much of a difference? It wasn't actually a bad game from him. It wasn't a bad game for any of our players. Even Eddie kind of acquitted himself well. I gave him a huge amount of stick on Sunday for his performance against Tottenham, just because it's a kind of game where you have to go out there and leave everything behind, and he didn't. He was missing in action. Came back, did well against Brentford, setting up with an assist to set up Nelson for his goal. This game, really good from him again. What I saw in this game, which was, I think, different, was that we had the same number of dribbles, roughly, but this time we were picking up the ball and running through the middle. There were a couple of lovely moments of that. There was a lovely dribble in the first half from Zinchenko. There was a couple from Eddie, and it felt like we were picking up the ball and running at the Bournemouth defence. But look, everything that you say about this game has to be in the context of the fact that Bournemouth played this at a walking pace. It was a beautiful sunny day on the coast, and it felt like a retirement home that we were visiting. I'm not saying that the crowd should have a lot to sing about, but this was a real away day for our fans. You know, they went through the canon of every one of our songs. If you'd pressed record at the start of this game, you could have had, you know, by the 90 minutes, you would have had a full compendium of all of our best chants. And like I said, I can't really blame the Bournemouth fans. I think the decision to let Gary O'Neill go when he'd done such a good job of keeping him up last season and bringing Iraola, because they obviously want to adapt and play a kind of football that, well, the players don't seem to understand just yet. And it is early days, but on the evidence of what we're seeing, and Bournemouth are the first team in the bottom 4 we've played, so racking up goals is good for the goal difference. We never looked in any trouble. I don't suppose Iraola, if he's anything like me, has actually unpacked his bags yet. And after yesterday, I'm sure he's not going to be in a hurry to do that. Just how long it is before he turns it around and convinces the players to actually stop walking about. If he doesn't, I don't think he's going to make it to Christmas at this rate, at a club like Bournemouth. And with Gary O'Neill himself, I've been watching Wolves this season. I watched Wolves this season play really well against Man United, but for a dodgy VAR decision. On the subject of VAR decisions, I've done a video, so after this, if you want to click, it's a bit of a rant about VAR, but we do need to talk about it, right? They were unlucky not to get a point at Old Trafford. They started brilliantly against Liverpool, but Liverpool, again, you know, robbed by VAR yesterday, but against Man City, Gary O'Neill showed what he could do with Wolves squad in a short amount of time. And the Bournemouth side that came out against us yesterday gave us far too much space. We were able to let them have more possession than we usually give teams, and they really were toothless. Didn't do anything with it at all. I'm really pleased with the result because it's exactly the kind of result you want before an away trip in the Champions League. We've got Lens midweek, and then we've got the big one next weekend. Manchester City, who, as I just mentioned, lost to Wolves. A result no one was predicting, but, you know, it's not that unusual. They do this, and what an important match that is now. If we beat Man City next week, we get a chance to go above them. I think they look really beatable, and they won't have Rodri back then either. So, yesterday's game, notable for the fact that we didn't really break a sweat. We were able to... Ben White scored his first goal of the season in dying minutes to make it 4-0. Didn't really flatter us because I think we were by far the better team. All in all, everybody really happy. Nothing really went wrong. Strong performances from a back four. I mean, Raya in goal, another clean sheet. We still haven't conceded a goal away on the road. It's all looking really good. If you look at the first 7 games, if we keep a pace with this, we're on target to achieve 92 points this season, which of course would be an improvement on last season and could potentially be enough this season to win the Premier League. So everything's really good. For all the people moaning and complaining last weekend, everybody's happy now, and long may that continue. The only sour note, perhaps, is a weird situation at the end of the game when Emil Smith-Rowe was coming off and needed to be consoled. He had 2 good chances. He was only on the pitch for 10 minutes or so. There is a lot of speculation about him not sticking around after January. I hope it's just rumours and gossip, because Emil, the fans love you. We cannot wait for you to work your way back into this team. Where it'll be, it's difficult to say. Obviously, with Jesus preferred on the left, even if Trossard's not fit and Martinelli's not playing, that doesn't look like an avenue back for you. Odegaard can't play every match. Perhaps it's going to be there. But Kai Havertz, now that obviously he's everybody's favourite and he's on the score sheet and he's proven his worth, you know, I think when Emil was interviewed earlier in the week, he talked about how you have to keep your mentality strong. I hope he does that. But in any case, it was Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 4. What more could you want? Lovely day in the sunshine, not too long to get home for the fans, and full steam ahead to Lens on Tuesday. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought about the game. Thanks so much for being part of this journey. We are inches away from 500 subscribers, so if you haven't yet and you've watched one of these videos before and you like it, hit subscribe. You know the drill. Till I see you again, be lucky. Lots of love.